Hi, everyone. Well, today is the big day. My book, My Escape from the Sick Care System, there it is available in Kindle and paperback. We are doing my official book launch. The Kindle version is 99 cents. The paperback is $14.97. And if you are struggling with any kind of chronic condition, I really invite you to download it in Kindle or get the paperback. I really put myself out there because my health journey has unfolded, gosh, over the span of several decades. So really most of my life. And let me just start by saying my own dad, whom I love dearly, was a general and vascular surgeon. And I guess we could say that he was part of the conventional system, although my dad practiced at a time when doctors had their own practices. They were not corporate employees of these large health systems. And that's going to be a topic for my second book because this is the first in a trilogy that I'm writing. But I want to focus on the fact that my father himself, the conventional general and vascular surgeon, always told me that the body heals itself. I just point it in the right direction. Having said that, in my own experience, I just did not get help from conventional medicine for the issues that I had, starting at age 19, when I went to a gynecologist who was a colleague of my dad's, a very, very nice woman, right? Highly educated, had a great practice. Again, this is nothing personal against doctors. It's really more about the limitations of the system and their training. But she had no answers for me. I fully expected I was going to go in there and she was going to tell me what was wrong, why my cycles were irregular, and we were going to get to the root of the problem, and she was going to tell me what to do to change it or maybe put me on something. But I certainly didn't want something synthetic. But what ended up happening was she had no answers for me. The only thing she told me was that she had a lot of patients my age, I was at 19 at the time, experiencing the same problems, and she was going to put me on Provera, which was a synthetic form of progesterone, to create a false scenario in my body. And I didn't like the word synthetic, and I didn't really like the expression false scenario. Like, what is that going to do? Well, we're going to trick your body into thinking it's having a period. Okay, well, but that still doesn't explain why my body's not working the way it's supposed to. So that really initiated a decades-long journey, which I document with honesty here. And it's not really always easy to put yourself out there, but I feel so strongly about helping other people. And especially since 2020 and the events of the past 5 years, I just felt really strongly that it was time to put this book out there. It's not just a memoir. I certainly do share my experience so that y'all know where I'm coming from and what I've experienced and what works for me. I have a disclaimer in the front of the book, however, saying that what worked for me may not work for you. But I really encourage you to keep asking questions. If there's one thing I want anyone to take away from this book is keep asking questions. Actually, two things. The second thing is realize that the insurance system is not designed for you to thrive, okay? You're not going to get anywhere paying your $20 copay or whatever it is, which is actually not really a $20 copay when you think about the premiums you pay every month. That's a topic for my second book. But when you pay that copay and you see a doctor for 7 minutes because that's what insurance dictates, and most of the time they're on their computer, again, it's really not their fault. These are shortcomings of the system, and I'm going to go into more of that in my second book. But the point is, they don't get to the root of the problem. And a lot of them don't have the training. They don't have the time. They're not going to sit there and ask you lifestyle questions in the span of 7 minutes or what's going on that might have you upset or anything like that. They're not going to delve into specifics, and they're certainly not going to get into nutrition. So if you could take away, the second takeaway I want you to get from this book is that you really have to invest in your health. Find the right functional doctor. Get away from the conventional medicine hamster wheel. Because let me tell you, I'm very honest that, for years, I kept going from doctor to doctor to doctor in the conventional medicine system and getting the same answers, right? The definition of insanity, not getting anywhere. So I explain all that here. I document it in the book, but really be willing to invest in yourself and find the right person to help you. I have a free guide at the beginning of the book, free download, that can help you find the right functional medicine practitioner for you. So again, whether it's Kindle or paperback, you will get this information in My Escape from the Sick Care System. And I want to just end this video by thanking, from the bottom of my heart, Ben Azadi. He's a New York Times bestselling author of Metabolic Freedom, and my gosh, a hugely popular, very successful podcaster. His podcast started out as Keto Camp. It's now Metabolic Freedom with Ben Azadi. I've been an avid listener since I think about 2021. And I reached out to Ben with a copy of my book. and said, "Hey, Ben, would you be willing to review this?" And he wrote back and said, "Hey, I'll read it. If I like it, I will write you a review." And lucky for me, he did like it, and he wrote this wonderful review. "My escape from the sick care system is a powerful blend of memoir and medicine. Daria Anne DiGiovanni pulls back the curtain on the failures of conventional healthcare while offering a hopeful, practical path forward through functional medicine. Raw, relatable, and deeply empowering, this book gives women struggling with PCOS, thyroid disorders, and autoimmune conditions the tools and courage to become their own best advocate. A must read for anyone ready to move from frustration to freedom." Thank you so much, Ben. And I also want to send some sincere gratitude out to my dentist, Dr. Claire Stagg, who is in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida. And I actually found Dr. Stagg, believe it or not, through Ben, not through a specific referral, but Ben had a podcast where he discussed biological dentistry. And sorry, Ben, I can't remember the exact guest of the episode I listened to, but it was all about biological dentistry. And after I heard it, I said, you know what? I have got to find a biological dentist. And lucky for me, Dr. Stagg was 10 minutes away from where I live. So she's wonderful. And Dr. Stagg also included a editorial review along with Joanne Amoroso, who is a myofunctional therapist whom I met after Dr. Stagg did a tongue tie release for me, which is all documented in the book. Joanne was my myofunctional therapist, and that was a whole new world for me too. And that's also part of my healing journey. So a lot of interesting things in here, but including sections at the end of each chapter for things for you to do to help yourself, different exercises, practices, things to look for. I even have sections in the back about labs, labs that you should ask about, online labs that you can order these blood tests from if your doctor won't order them, and also just my list of recommended podcasts, including the Thyroid Fixer podcast with Dr. Amy Horniman, who was really the person who got me over the finish line, as I like to say. So very excited to be officially launching my book. Get it in Kindle for 99 cents, or you can purchase it in paperback for $14.97. Visit me at my website, truevoicewritingservices.com. You can also check out my podcast, True Voice Unfiltered. It's on YouTube and on all the podcast platforms. Thank you so much, everyone. Be well.